Back to Dress Your Face Live. I'm here with my beautiful friend Letty from Veramona. She is the beauty behind the creation. Let's say hi.
Hello.
So I'm so pleased to have her here because she came out with this amazing palette that I've been dying to use in one of these classes. And one of the most requested things that you guys, I always listen to your requests and I like to teach what you guys have been hungry to learn. So one of the requests that I always get is, can we learn the double wing thing and can we learn something with some color? So I was really excited when they came out with this Lotus palette. You guys know that I already use the color switch material a lot. I use the color switch disc a lot to switch between colors on my brushes, and you guys know I like to use kind of the same brush for everything. So instead of cleaning the brush with brush cleaner in between, just a little wipe off with this is so much easier. So I have the wristband that I use in a lot of my past tutorials and on my tour and everything. But this makes life a little easier and a lot more fun. So I'll give you guys a closer look at this. This is the Lotus palette from Veramona. And it has some really amazing pigmented colors in there and the double-sided brush. So we're going to be using a lot of this in today's tutorial. So if you don't have it, we do have a discount code for you guys. It is Dress Your Face on Veramona.com.
Veramona.com.
And you get 30% off. That is a huge discount. So thank you. Thank you so much. This is a great time to stock up on your stuff. I know a lot of you who've been waiting for pro artistry discounts. I mean, this is sometimes more than what a lot of pro artistry discounts get. So all you have to do is spell out Dress Your Face at checkout so you can get your whopping 30% off on Veramona.com. So this is the Lotus palette, and then they also have like the armbands and the color switch duos and solos. Veramona is also a proud sponsor of my world tour this year. So a lot of my very lucky students have won her products in my raffles. And for New York next weekend, we're going to have a color switch in all of the goodie bags. And I'm like so excited. And we're giving away a bunch of these in the raffle too. So super excited if you're attending New York. I will see you next weekend. And if you're not, don't worry about it. We have our online classes and I can always go over other techniques on our online classes and do some fun giveaways and stuff like that. But so let's go ahead and get started. Again, this is a closer look of the palette. So what we're going to be using is we're actually going to be using this one, and of course a ton of the purple and a little bit of the black as well. And this is going to be in the crease. So we're going to be using a lot of these shades in today's look. And one of the things I wanted to address was the names of these looks. You know how we say, okay, Arabic eye, Egyptian eye, Bollywood eye, all these things. They're very, very much meshed into just subdivisions of the same genre. So I know some of you were confused, like, okay, well, what makes this an Egyptian eye and what makes that a Bollywood eye or whatever. These are just very loosely used terms in makeup artistry, but it really pertains to that same very exotic look. So when I say Arabic eye, I usually mean very, very extended. If you look at any Arab music videos or, makeup styles, it's very spread out and very smoky in the crease, very smoky underneath as well, and it usually has a sharp beginning and a really sharp end, but it's super elongated. So in general, that's what I mean by Arabic eye. But then here in the States, we've kind of coined that term for the cut crease and the glitter and like that, which is definitely not, it did not start over there, and it's not a major characteristic of a real Arabian eye, but I mean, that's kind of what it's coined as. So as a makeup artist, I just wanted you guys to know like what these terms mean and what they really mean and what we've kind of created them to mean. I call this an Egyptian eye because it actually has a double wing and a nice face in the middle. It was really cute. And when I was done with her, I looked at her and I was like, oh my God, you look like an Egyptian goddess. So that's why I named it an Egyptian eye rather than an Arabic eye or Bollywood eye or anything like that. And then with Bollywood, it's very diverse. Bollywood gets its makeup trends and ideas from all over the place. Asian in general includes Bollywood. So when people say Asian makeup, that also means Indian makeup. and it's usually very dark eyeliners, a lot of like shiny, bling blingy, some glitter and some prettiness going on there. So with Bollywood eyes, there's a whole lot of different things going on, but I have noticed that a lot of my Bollywood bridals love the whole, you know, Arabic eye thing. So it's just kind of meshed into one gigantinormous genre. So I don't want you guys to get confused. Don't get too consumed on the terminology. We're just going to call this an Egyptian eye because she looked like an Egyptian princess when we were done. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We already did her foundation base, her powders and everything, her blush. What we'll do now is her eyes, and then we'll finish off with just a really pretty lipstick, and you guys can take your pictures throughout the class. If you guys do take any screenshots and you want to post a step-by-step, or if you want to, you know, post any collages or pictures from class, feel free to hashtag Dress Your Face Live so we can see and we can comment, and you tag Veramona, tag Dress Your Face, and we'll be able to go through your posts and we can show you our love as well by liking and commenting and all that good stuff. And we'll have fun kind of looking at the screenshots. So you guys always screenshot me when I'm looking like horrible. I make the weirdest faces.
I'm sure you never look horrible.
The weirdest faces. And it's always like I'm confused about something or I'm angry, but it's so funny. I love seeing your screenshots, so whatever, keep them coming. All right, so we're going to zoom in so that you can get a nice, deeper look into her eyes, and we will begin this process. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add an eyeshadow base all over her eyelids. And I'm going to use this lovely brush of mine. This is my concealer brush, MAC 287, and I'm using the Paint Pot in Soft Ochre as her eyeshadow base. Beautiful. And I'm just going to fluff it right on. I'm going to be careful around her eyebrows. And make sure that there's no skipping, there's no gaps from folds of skin or anything. So you want to make sure you are pulling the skin up and you are sliding in different directions so that you're catching any gaps in between on her eyelids. And make sure also that you're not smearing it all over her brow hair. It'll be a lot harder for us to clean up later, so make sure you're going just right under the brow hairs. And as far as how much to put on, I usually like a nice solid thin layer. I like it to look like concealer. I'm not really interested in sheer product, so I'm all about just having a full coverage. And that way, everything you put on is going to show up really, really nicely. I'm just going to ask you guys a question here. Let us know if the lighting is okay, or if you want us to go any brighter or darker with it. If you go on my latest post on Instagram, you will see, where's my phone? There it is. If you go on my latest post on Instagram, you'll see that I made a post asking you guys to add your questions and comments on this post right here. This one. And so go ahead and go onto that post, ask your questions there, and if I ever have questions for you guys just regarding, like, you know, the lighting and everything, just making sure that you guys have the best experience possible, go ahead and list your comments in there so that I can know, you know, if everything's okay. So let me know. And I'm already seeing a ton of questions here, so we'll get back into this right after class. But anyway, so we have the eyeshadow base on, and like I said, I really like it to be a full coverage eyeshadow base because if it's too sheer, it's not really going to make your eyeshadows pop. It's going to make them stay on longer maybe, but it's not going to pop. So why not do 2 in 1 by having an eyeshadow base that actually has a lot of coverage, just like a concealer, but stays on really nice and keeps the makeup on without creasing. So my favorite is MAC Paint Pot Soft Ochre, and a lot of you have asked, well, it creases on me, do you have any other suggestions? Well, MAC is my favorite, this is my favorite, and I think the reason why it's creasing is because you don't have enough eyeshadow over it. So just like foundation, and you set it with powder, this is the same type of deal. You put on a cream base, you have to set it with enough eyeshadow so that it doesn't slide around. And also do not use it too thick. As you can see, I just put a nice thin layer throughout her eyelid and eyebrow bones, so that's kind of all you need, okay? So now we're going to go in with We're going to use, is this caper?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Caper.
All the names on there are flowers because the palette is lotus.
Oh my God, how
and
beautiful.
Lotus is our logo.
Oh yeah, I love that lotus idea. There we go. So we're going to use this color, and this is the brush that comes with it. And I'm going to show you a little something real quick. Let's say I go in with this brown color, and I've, used it on my client, whatever. And instead of me having to wash my brush and dip it into the lighter color so that the colors don't mix, all you have to do is just wipe it off on this thing, and all the color is off. So there's absolutely nothing left on this brush, and now I can just go right into this light color and not even have to worry about remnants of brown sticking on her. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to stamp it right onto the brow bone. If you guys are asking what brush this is the brush that actually comes in the palette. Do you sell this by itself as well?
It will start selling soon by itself in Christmas time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But for now, it's in the palette, and we also have another double-ended brush that's slightly different that we do sell separately.
Awesome. Good to know. So as you can see, I'm literally just taking the color and stamping it very heavily right on that brow bone and then sliding it across. And I'm not asking you to blend it. I'm just asking you to slide and push the product in so that it actually sticks very well to her. But if you blend it, then a lot of the color is just going to get too dispersed, and I don't want that. I want pop and I want pow. And a lot of you have asked, well, how come I'm doing all these steps, but it's just not coming off as strong as when you do it? And that's because I don't overblend. That's my number one tip for you guys, especially for those of you who are new on Dress Your Face Live. You'll notice that I do not overblend. I don't even like the word blend. So, okay, so now we're going to use the other side of this double-sided brush, this fluffy side, and I'm going to dip into the brown color. Can you pronounce this?
Celosia.
Oh, celosia. This color right here. It's a beautiful, soft, warm brown. It's not too dark, so it's actually very nice on all skin tones. And we are just going to lift up her skin a little bit so I can dig right into her socket. And I'm just going to circle it across. Like a windshield wiper movement. And then whatever's left on the brush, I can just kind of overlap it a little bit with the edge of the white. And that's it. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Celosia. Right on that outer corner, and just windshield wiper movements all the way in. And I have a few tips for you guys. If you guys have been struggling with your crease and with blending, try two things. Number one, try holding your brush from more of the middle or the end area of the brush, not so close to here, because this is going to be very hard for you to blend. It's going to be very herky-jerky. So move your hand back and look at the flick of the wrist, and you can get a much smoother gradient in your crease. The other tip that I have is if you're using your brush like this, trying to do your crease with the upward angle, you are going to be creating more lines than you need. So go straight in or go with a little elevation to create your crease so that the bristles don't put that dark color all over the lid. You want to keep your lid nice and clean and focus on the crease by having it a little bit more elevated or straight in, okay? So that's two major tips to change your crease game. So write them down. Use your brush from the back end or the middle to release your, pressure. And then the second thing is go straight in or with an elevation. Never do your crease with your arms resting down on the client's face. All right. So now that you have those things down, we are now going to add a little shine right in the inner corner of the eye. So I'm going to use a hint of hydrangea and caper. I'm going to mix the two to create a light pearl color with the same brush. So I'm going to wipe off what we have here. I'm going to go in with caper first, and I'm just going to press it right into the tear duct. So see how, oh my God, this pigment is ridiculous. It's so full coverage. I love it. And to blend a little bit, remember, we can wipe off everything we have on the blended side of this brush and just fluff it right off. Bam. And now we have a beautiful, bright, pearly white inner tear duct. And then I'm going to go in with this shiny shade called Hydrangea and just dot that right over. So it's a true mix of the pearl and the shine to create a nice hybrid. And again, just fluff a little bit off with the blendy side of the brush. I love double-sided brushes, so I don't have to keep going back and getting another brush. So again, caper first, dot it right into the tear duct zone of the eye, and then we're gonna have you turn just a little bit, and then Hydrangea, just a little dab of that, and we're just going to remove any fluff. And now we have a beautiful inner tear duct. Go ahead and open your eyes and look up. We're gonna make sure that this bottom edge is also smoothed into the rest of the eye so it doesn't look all crazy. All right, good. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to actually start darkening up the outer corner of the eyes. And that, my friends, I'm going to be doing with a little bit of Hollyhock, the dark one right over here. So I'm just going in with the very, very tip of my blending brush. And I'm just going to dig in right into this outer corner. Just in the outer corner. I don't want it to spread all over the place. I just want it to be in that outer edge. Anytime you receive any fallout, flick it off immediately. If you don't flick off fallout until the end, it's going to end up getting stuck to their skin because of the natural oils of the skin. It'll start grabbing on, so you don't want that to happen. So before the natural oils of the skin can make that product grab, just flick it right off. So see how I'm just adding a little bit of color right on that outer corner? Here's a really, here's another tip for you guys that you can write down or screenshot because it might be a little hard to write down. Go ahead and open your eyes for us and turn a little bit this way. So do you see where the fold of her crease kind of would meet with the edge of her eyelash line? As if, let's say her eyelash line kept extending, that area where the corner and the eyelash meet, that's where you want to create that little dot. If you're confused on where to put the black, put it right in there, and then they can close their eyes and you can just make sure that it's not all sharp and crazy. And remember, when I'm blending, I'm not really sweeping and I'm not doing a lot of movement. I'm just kind of, if you can see, I place the brush and I don't even move, like the tip of the brush is still stationed on her skin. I'm not lifting the brush off her skin. I'm just moving around the edges of the brush so that these shorter bristles on the side can do the blending for me. But these long bristles remain stationed on the outer corner of her eye so that I'm not spreading that black too much. Again, do not overblend. And then lastly, if you want to just create a little flick, that's fine too. So I think I'm going to do more because I don't stop at one layer. And so we're just going to do that same thing, just creating a little bit of that black right in there. Notice how my brush is not moving, it's just wiggling. And you see how I got that really dark area right in there? And now I can do slight sliding. But keep in mind, we are not bringing that black all the way up into the crease. I'm going to go back with the brown to be my transition shade between the black and the crease. So see how beautiful that looks already? Go ahead and look into the camera again. And again, make sure any little dust comes right off. So we are not bringing the black too high up. We just want it to smooth right across that outer corner of the eye. I'm going to do one more layer on the other side and you guys can follow along. Dark, 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 wiggle, wiggle, wiggle right on this outer corner. Bam. We got that. Now we're going to go back into the celosia brown.
You say that so nicely.
I'm just saying it how you said it. I really don't know what else. And then smoothing it right across, just so that the black doesn't look completely misplaced. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes and let's show our camera what we have so far. And as you can see, that's only a few steps into it and it already looks so beautiful. So now that that's done, we're gonna fill in the entire lid with a beautiful purple called Lotus. And this is what it is right here. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off whatever's left on my flat side of the brush. I'm gonna pick up a ton of this beautiful, beautiful pigment right here and be amazed. So remember guys, my press and slide, lift up, press down, and slide. And that product is gonna stick on so beautifully. Make sure you're only grabbing product on one side of the brush though, because what you'll notice is if you put too much product, it's gonna dust down. So if you put product on both sides of the brush, the side that you're not using is gonna fly all over the place. So don't do that, just focus on one side of the brush at a time. And just do the press and slide all over the eye. And look up real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And we're gonna do one more layer just because I like to do 2 layers of everything. It's like a violet. It's such a bright, beautiful purple. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Lifting up, sliding down, filling up that whole eyelid with this amazing color. I know you guys were hungry for color, so I mean, hello. We're giving it to you now. Make sure that you're bringing the product all the way down to the lash line. Do not have any gaps. Even if you do plan on putting thick liner, don't have gaps. Always fill up the entire lid if you're gonna do a color like this. Okay, and now flicking off any dust. Oh, another tip. If you're flicking off dust, do not rub the dust into the skin. Do light flicks and then wipe off. Light flick, wipe off. Better yet, if you have the disc, the Verimoda disc, when you wipe off into that disc and all the particles will grab so that when you come back and wipe off whatever's going on the face, you're not actually spreading pigment from your brush. So you're wiping off your brush every time you come back to clean off any dust. Open your eyes. I love it. So pretty. Okay guys, so at this point, we're gonna jump right into the eyeliner. And what we'll do is I work on the bottom eyeliner first and then I work on the top. It's just a habit. So I'm gonna go into, let's see what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use my LA Girl Glide Gel Eyeliner. This is a gel and a pencil. LA Girl Cosmetics. This is black. This is just what it looks like. And look up to the ceiling. We're gonna fill in the waterline. Make sure you get a nice thick layer of color. So if that means bleeding over the edges of the eyelash line, then just do it. So as you can see, I'm doing the entire waterline from corner to corner. I'm not missing any little areas, and I'm gonna bleed over the edge of the lash line as well. Okay, so now that that part is done, I'm going to set it with black eyeshadow from the same palette. So we're gonna take a really tiny brush. One of my favorites for this particular part is my little baby Morphe brush. Let me find it for you guys so you can see. It's just the cutest little brush ever. And it's M515, this little baby. And we're gonna dip into the Hollyhock, which is the black color in the palette, and look up all the way. We're just gonna set the waterline first. And then with whatever's left on the bristles, we're gonna blend the area below the lashes. I know it's gonna look crazy at first, don't worry about that. We still have to do those wing extensions, then it's gonna make sense. So we're just setting that and we're blending that lower edge. Okay, and now we're gonna go back into the flat side of the double-sided brush in the palette. Go back into Lotus. And I'm only using it on that top edge of the brush because, go ahead and look up, we're gonna add it right on that lower lash line. And oh my God, we're gonna have to get really close once we're done so that you can really see the gradient of this. It's so stunning. Okay. So now we have this beautiful, beautiful gradient going on. We're gonna do a little cleanup. And now we can work on the top eyeliner and the extensions, which is like the hardest part. So if you guys are new at this, do not beat yourself up over this. It is a tough thing and it does take a lot of practice to get it right. So no one's gonna expect you to do it perfect the first time, but we do expect you to practice so that you can eventually get perfect. So we're going to clean up this liner brush. I want you to see, by the way, the actual brush cleaner, if you do need to use an actual brush cleaner, Cinema Secrets is my favorite. And the liners that I use are very gummy, so you have to saturate the brush and completely clean it between every use, obviously, if you're going to be using it on other clients too, but even for yourself because it will get hard and crazy. So this is my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeliner brush, and I do like it because it goes into a point, and that's pretty cool. And then another brush that I really like also is the Sigma Winged Liner brush. So it's up to you guys, you know, what type of shape you prefer when you do your wing liner and your, you know, Arabic eyes, Egyptian eyeliner, whatever it is that you want to do. But let me show you both of these because these are both my favorites for the extensions of the wings and stuff. So the one on the right is the Sigma Winged Liner brush, and the one on the left is the Anastasia liner brush. So if you prefer a thinner one, I'd go with Sigma. If you prefer a thicker one, I'd go with the Anastasia. We're actually going to go with the Sigma today. So I'm going to dip into my super, super, super black eyeliner, which is number 77 AMC Gel Liner from Inglot. Seriously, the darkest black I've ever used. And I'm going to take a nice chunk out here. And I'm going to close this again because I don't want this to get dry. So immediately shut it. And then I have now a chunk on the back of my hand that I can work with. So I'm just going to work with little bits at a time. And I'm going to sharpen this brush so that it's nice and firm and as sharp as a razor blade edge. And we are going to create our wings like that. And we're also going to create the rest of our eyeliner like that. So while the eyes are open, I like to go ahead and create where I think the wings should go. So I'm just going to make a little incision, if you will. And I'm going to go pretty light with it. I just want to create a guideline for myself. This isn't like the final wing. This is just a guideline. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to try to match it up. And this is why I like it when the eyes are open, because that way I can really see what I'm doing. Okay, so I've created my wings, and now close your eyes. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the eyeliner. So we are going to start on one end and work our way to the opposite end. And what I like to do is make sure that you are lifting up on that skin so that you're getting very deep into the lash line. Okay. So again, lifting up so I can get deep in there. And I like to go a little thicker on that outer half of the eye. Okay, so now that the eyeliner is on, we just have to somehow let it flow into the wing. We have to connect it. So now is our time to really darken up that wing, so be very careful. And do not press hard when you're doing the wing of the eyeliner. Do not press hard at all, because if you do, you're going to smash the brush and you're going to create like a really, really thick line. That's the last thing you want to do, is to create a thick line for your wing. You really need it to be as thin as possible. So the way to do it thin, like I was saying, pick up product, sharpen your brush, and draw your line with not too much pressure. Because if you draw it with pressure, this is what you're going to get, a double thickness of the line. That's not what we're looking for right now. So precision is key, and that's the part that really just takes a long time to perfect. But hey, got to get there, so you got to practice. And now I'm going to go almost to the tip of that line, and I'm going to slide it right into the rest of the eyeliner. So I am going thicker over here in the middle. And then I slide it down into the rest of the eye. And open. And what that does is it just kind of creates this really dramatic effect. And it goes from thin to thick to thin again. And now, go ahead and look up in that direction over there. So we're stretching her tear duct. And I'm going to get right in here. And I'm going to create that little bitty wing on the inner corner. That part's hard too, so don't freak out if it's not perfect the first time. I'm making the brush really nice and sharp. And I'm just going to create a very careful edge right on that inner corner. I mean, after a gazillion years, I'm still nervous about this step. But I want it nice and dark on this corner, and I literally just feather light touch right in there to create that nice sharp edge. And it's up to you, like how long you want to go, how thick you want to go, and all that good stuff. But to be honest, I like a really tight, thin line there. And sometimes my clients, you know, they don't want any. So you got to ask, make sure they're cool with it. But this is my favorite way of doing it. And I don't go too much down. And I don't go too up. I want to go more straight, but kind of in a downward angle. So since her eye shape is already going into that point, I just kind of follow through with it. If someone's eye shape is going down, then you can go a little thicker to go straighter, or you could actually just follow it all the way down. I don't know if you guys saw my tutorial with Brittany Bear makeup. Her eye shape already goes a little down, so we went a little bit more exaggerated on her cat eye. But over here, we're able to go a little straighter with it. And I really do prefer a straighter edge when it comes to wings. So that's how we do that one. And then if you just look a little bit up, we're going to just go right under this top wing. Feather light strokes, guys. I'm barely touching her. And I'm going to connect it right into her lower lash line. So this top wing is connected to her top lash line. The bottom wing is connected to the bottom of her lower lash line, so that I have a nice gap in between. Okay? And I have another little secret tip for you. If you guys have Sharpie nails like mine, you can literally just take that edge and pull it through, and you can create that sharper, more faded edge look where it kind of just goes off into nothing. So that's kind of how I would do it. If you get a blob, for example, let's say you get a blob and you just want to extend it, you could literally just extend it to create a little bit more of that sharpness just with the edge of your nail. Or if you have any kind of a tool, like even I wouldn't normally do this, but one time I did, and I had to be very careful. The end of a spatula, what you could do is literally just very lightly, you never want to go hard, but very lightly, you can use this to just spread out a wing, just like I did right here. So you have this product here, and you can literally just spread out just using a clean spatula if you're afraid of using too much product, okay? So that's little secrets, little ways to make your life a little easier. So I'm gonna get fresh product since I used it all. And I'm gonna go back to the other side and I'm gonna redo all those steps again so you guys can follow along. Sharpening up this brush, making sure that the product is nice and clean, not too gummy, and that the brush is nice and sharp. And we're going to close your eyes. We're going to just match the wing into the liner. Again, going thicker out here. I'm so glad that we did this class during the day. I'm so sorry, you guys. Like, honestly, I always try to do as many Sunday classes as I can during the day so that, you know, everyone can watch, including my lovely, amazing fans in the UK. It's your evening now, and I know a lot of times our evening, you guys, it's in the middle of the night for you guys, and so you guys can't watch it live, so I'm really glad that this happened. And the reason why sometimes I can't do it this time is because I still do weddings, and I love doing my brides. I'm never going to stop doing that. So I get booked like throughout every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. So by the time I'm done, it's usually evening. So I'm just really glad that I was able to block off this time for our class. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing your guys' questions at the end of class as well. Open and look down in this direction towards me. So we're stretching out the eyes, we're getting right in here, and I'm smoothing out any areas that just aren't even. And then look up. Now we're gonna make sure that inner corner has enough product. And it is time to make our inner corner wing. And it's gonna be hard for me because usually I walk on the other side for this, but I'm gonna have to do it this way because of the camera. So open and look in my direction, and kind of look up a little bit, yeah. So I'm going to start right at her natural tear area, kind of creating a fuller dot there. And now sharpening up, making sure I have enough product, keeping my brush nice and sharp. I'm gonna make my little line. Notice I'm barely touching her, guys. Like I wish you were right here so I could really hold your hand through this. Okay, so we make our little wing, and now we're going to connect it. On the top and the bottom. Go ahead and turn maybe a little bit this way, yeah. And look up again. The trick is to take very tiny movements and to be very, very, very precise as much as possible, because the last thing you need is blobs all over the place. Go ahead and look down again. I'm going to smooth this connection. I'm going to thicken this connection as well, just so that it matches. All right. So now we have this gorgeous inner wing. Now we have to work on that double wing portion of the bottom. So same thing, go very slow, very soft like a feather. Look up to the ceiling. And we're just creating this amazing, amazing double wing effect. And we're just matching it to that bottom edge right in there. Okay, now what we have to do is one more step before we're going to add that gold line in between, and that is with a small brush. Remember that small 515 brush from Morphe? Going back to the black color of the palette, look up again. We're going to blend the line, blur the line between the outer corner and the purple eyeshadow. So this little edge right here, we're adding black so that it looks a little more smoky on the bottom. And it really creates this beautiful transition from the purple to that double wing area. Okay, clean, clean, clean. Now we're ready for that gold right in between. I really love this part. So I'm going to sharpen my gold pencil from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is called Liquid Gold. I'm going to make it as sharp as I can. Right in here. This is Liquid Gold from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And you want to spread the eye. So we're going to turn a little bit this way. You want to spread the wings and draw your gap line right in between, and then use your finger to just spread it out. And this cleans up your edges, and it makes it so bold in between the two wings, and it looks so much more exotic that way. So you're getting a much bolder, cleaner line, and you could use your fingers to really just spread it out so it doesn't look like it's a sudden drop. It's just so exotic. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So spreading the skin apart so you can get in there and draw your gap all the way. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh my God. Oh, I'm in love with it already. Okay, great. So now that this is done, let's get the eyebrows on. Let's get the mascara on and some false lashes. And at the way end, I'm going to apply a little bit of glitter so we can really just do that finale of this look. I really love it on you. Oh my God. It looks great. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the brows real quick just to get it out of the way. So we're going to use an angled brow brush. Let me find the right one here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the angled brow brush, and it has a spoolie at the other end of it. Let me just give it a quick clean. And we're going to use a dark brown dip brow to style her eyebrows. So first thing that I do is I like to clean off any powders that are stuck in her brow, just by giving it a nice brush through. Make sure when you're brushing through the brows, you're not brushing off all that white eyeshadow we put on the brow bone, because that's really gonna defeat the purpose. So, going into the dip brow in dark brown, I'm gonna take out a small little bit of this. Again, immediately shut it. I always shut my cream stuff. I hate it when this stuff dries out. My eyeliners, my brow stuff, nothing. Anything that has a cap on it, put the cap right back on. Just get what you need, put it on your hand so that you can work with it, and put this away. Do not leave it open. And now I'm going to do the same thing, just sharpening my brush, and we're going to start right at the arch, go down to the tail. So we have our arch and the tail, and we're going to take a nice sharp line and bring it into the inner corner of the brow, the beginnings. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to fill in the gaps in little strokes. And I like that beginning part really blended, and I like everything else nice and strong. Okay, so now we have this really fierce but not overly done brow. So we'll just take a little look at this. Nice and smooth. We're going to do the same on the other side. So again, starting with the arch and the tail. Give that extension. And then we're going to draw this line on the bottom edge of the brow. And then whatever's left on the brush, we're going to fill in any gaps. Little strokes on that top. And very few strokes in the beginnings, and we're going to blend it. Okay, so now we have, pretty awesome brows here. And anything you need to do to get them to match as much as possible, but don't worry if they're not like 100% match. Your eyebrows are never going to be exactly the same. The hairs grow differently. In different directions too. So whatever you can do to get them to be balanced is fine, but don't worry too much about getting them to have an exact match. Just do what you can to get them balanced. So if one eyebrow is higher than the other, then just add more to the other side, and you know the drill. Another thing we're going to do just to clean up the edges a bit is use my Pro Pencil from Anastasia. This is the base number 1, and I'm just going to clean up the very edges so that it looks a little bit more sharp, I guess. And then blend. We're actually going to blend with the other side of the Vermuna brush. So again, remember how much purple was in here? We're going to remove all that purple. Oh, and by the way, this thing, you can flip it over and use a whole new side. But I'm still using the first side. So I've now removed all product from this brush. And now we're going to blend the creamy shade above her brow, and you'll see that there is no purple on her brow. And turn my way a little bit. And I'm just blending away this edge, just, to make the eyebrows a little extra sharp. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to curl the lashes, add mascara. So look down to the floor, lift up, and fit it into your curler. Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay. And squeeze down as much as you can. And now we're going to add a nice coat of Hypnose Drama waterproof mascara, my favorite waterproof mascara. Go ahead and look up. We'll do the bottoms first. Okay, we're going to let that dry for just a second before I have her look down. Reason being, if she looks down right away, then the edges of her lashes are going to poke down to her cheek, and then we're going to have a lot of little black dots. So we're going to let this dry for just a second. Now she can look down, and I'm going to lift up and poke right through, spike right through her top lashes. All right, now that the lashes have been coated, we can apply the, actually, let's do your lipstick real quick, just because, you know, I want the screenshots to look absolutely perfect. And then we're gonna do the glitter, and then while the glitter is drying, I'll pop on the Tamana lashes. So we're gonna go ahead and choose a nice soft lipstick color for her. I'm gonna smooth out her lips using the same powder brush that I used on her earlier off camera. So there's still a little bit of her powder left on this brush. It's gonna mute her lips, and now we can apply a little bit of Soar lip liner, which is my favorite. I mean, I freaking put that on everybody. I love it. I love it so much. I'm gonna sharpen it, make it nice and new for you. And I'm lining right along the edges of her natural lip line. And then if you want to double up on it, you can go just right above. All right, and now we're going to use Dusty Rose from, since we're on the, you know, the flower topic, Dusty Rose from Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks. I'm just gonna put a little bit on my hand and then use a lip brush to apply it for her, only because this is my kit and I do not want to double dip. Otherwise, if you have it for yourself, just use the applicator that comes in that liquid lipstick. It works just fine. Pick up a little bit and just smooth it across. It's like the perfect match for Soar lip liner. Okay, so now that she has that all over, so let me go ahead and see if I can just add a little more here. Okay, now we can either let that stay matte or we can add a gloss to it. So just let this dry for a second before we make that decision. So let's go ahead and put on some of the glitter. The glitter that I used is called Metalhead from Urban Decay. This is the heavy metal glitter liner, and it's so easy to use and easy to spread. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I know a lot of you have tried to use this and have gotten it very gunky and had a little issue with spreading. So I'm going to share some of my tips on how to spread this product without getting it gunky. So go ahead and close your eyes. We are going to take a nice chunk of it with the tip of this brush, and we're going to apply it and start immediately when you apply, spread it up. And how I spread it up is just using the brush sideways. So the spreading happens when you use the brush completely flat. Do not just use the tip of the brush, otherwise there's just no way it's going to spread all over. And another thing you could do to spread it really nicely is to use a flat brush to also spread. So this is my MAC 242 brush, and you can literally just spread it out just like that. So again, getting product, spreading it all the way up, all along the purple zone of the eyes. Make sure you're going really close to the eyeliner, but not on the eyeliner. Because when the eyes are open, you want this product to show. You want the glitter to show, but you don't want it to ruin your eyeliner edge. So make sure you're not doing that. I'm just going to flatten it out. And while that's drying, we are going to place our lashes on. But before we do that, I'm going to have you lean forward just a little bit. So yeah, so now everyone can see the liner, the glitter. We're going to do a little side to side turning. Really pretty. Go ahead and sit back, relax. We'll put on the lashes now. So I am going to show you guys how I like to use my Tamana lashes. Where's my name? Tamana lashes from flutterlashes.com. And of course it has this lovely sleeve. And what I like to do is I like to just cut off that very inner corner and outer corner. It's extended for super big eyes and also to hold it in place in the box. So all you have to do is just cut off the very little corners at the edges and make sure it fits the eye really nicely. So if it's just too wide, you can cut off the outer corner or the inner corner. Another thing that I added in these lashes here is the, is this going to ever focus? Okay. So I also added, I'm sure you can see this, the spikes at the edges of them. So the cool part is if you feel like any of the spikes are too long, you could literally just cut across the spikes and it's not going to damage lashes because the dense part is at the root. The edges are thinner. So you can literally trim the spikes and create your own custom look too. So I really wanted to make these lashes as versatile as possible. So it's nice and thick right over here, and then there's some really, really cool wispies right at the end. And then also, when you do trim them, make sure you're not trimming all the way to the base because you don't want to ruin the thickness of the base. So just be a little, I'm going to show you right now how I do it. The other thing is I love curling my lashes. Love curling them. If you really want to maximize the effect of your falsies, any falsie, but especially these because of these beautiful wisps that I added in, curl the lashes right at the base of the lashes and it'll spike up and look so beautiful. And that's what we did in our promo video, which I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to take out one of these here. Okay. And I'm going to use my tweezers to hold the middle of them while I go ahead and start trimming the very, very ends. Now the first thing that I have to do is to make sure that this actually fits her nicely and know that I'm not trimming too much. So I'm just going to place them on and see how much I need to cut off the end. So I'm just going to cut like a very, very small amount. And it's up to you which end you want to cut. Most people cut from the outer end, but I have to tell you, I like thick crazy, so I'm not trying to cut off my thickest and craziest part. So I usually cut off, in this case, I'm going to cut off this very inner corner. All right, I've now cut off this very, very inner corner. And just so that my inner corner isn't too crazy long, I'm just going to barely trim the inner lashes. So now you can see that it's a beautiful gradient from, you know, the shorter lashes in the beginnings to the longer ones at the end. And you always want to make sure that long piece right at the end is just cut off. So now we have a perfect lash for her. And while I'm holding it, I'm going to go ahead and curl them. So this is how I curl them. I hold it right at the middle part. I throw all of it in between my curler. So all of it's in here now. Here, I'll do it up against the white. And I go a little lower and I squeeze down. And any little spikes that are out, go ahead and curl those up as well. So I'm going to go in again. Make sure that all of the hair is in there. And you're just going to curl. And now you see how these beautiful wisps are super, super long, spiked up. They're really going to show off nicely on her. So that's how I prepare my lash. I mean, you could always just throw them right on. But, you know me. I do extra. I always do extra. So we're going to apply some of my favorite House of Lashes lash glue. It's a brush on, so it's like so easy. I'm going to apply it right at the base of the lashes. Okay. And we're going to wait for this to get really sticky so that we can put them on. We're going to get them like almost dry. So I'm just going to fan it until it's pretty much almost dry. You'll notice you know, a lot of you are like, okay, well, how much are you supposed to put? I like to put a lot of glue on my lashes because there's no way in hell I'm going to be that artist whose client has one lash poking right out of that corner. I'm not going to be that makeup artist. So I put plenty of glue. I mean, I'm not like, it's not all over. I mean, if you can see. Why is this not? There we go. It's just really at the base of the lash. Bam. But I really want it to get sticky, so when I do pop it on, it just sticks on. So we're going to let this get really sticky. And as far as how long to wait, usually about 30 seconds or so is good. But if you see that the color is starting to get really clear, that means it's already drying and you got to just go ahead and pop it on. So looking down all the way to the floor, we're going to go center to center. And then the edges. Pop one edge on, pop the other edge on, and let it grab on, and then close your eyes. And then I go in with my nail or the end of the tweezer to press that glue into her eyelash line so that nothing's popping up. So I kind of do this little thing here. Okay, open. And now she has these beautiful fluttery lashes. We're going to do the same on the other side. So again, I'm just kind of popping them out of the case. We're going to trim the extra part on the outer, and then we're going to trim that inner V, making sure these wispies aren't too long for her. And we're going to go in and curl them. Have them stand straight up. And now we're going to put the glue. And we'll be ready to pop them on as soon as that glue is sticky enough. So again, waiting for that glue to get sticky. Go ahead and look up again. Just making sure it's not stuck. Okay. Get this nice and sticky. And we're gonna pop them right onto her lash base. As far as like where exactly to pop this on, technically you're not supposed to let this touch your lashes, otherwise, you know, when you're ripping it off, it could rip off your lashes. But I like to get it as close to the lash base as possible, and I do like to glue it to the lash because I don't like that gap in between the false lash and your real lash. So I just tell my clients, be very careful when you're removing this. If it doesn't remove easily, use an oily eye makeup remover, and it should lift the glue enough for you to start peeling it off without damaging the rest of your beautiful lashes. And we're going to go center to center again. Hold down one end, hold down the other end. Push it right through, close your eyes, and let it actually grab on. Because sometimes what happens is when you do it when the eyes are open and then they close, it separates a little bit. So you have to make sure that this step right here that I'm doing right now, that you're doing this. Really pressing in and getting that connection. Open. Close again. Open again. There we go. Oh my God. Okay, get really close to the camera. Let's see those lashes. And that's without adding mascara to the lashes. So once the lashes are fully dried, we're gonna add a coat of mascara to really get those peaks to stand out more. And that's if your client wants them to stand out more. Sometimes my clients just want a very soft, girly look, and so we will not add mascara to these lashes, but I almost always add mascara on. Okay, go ahead and sit back, relax. Close again. I'm just gonna make sure that this isn't lifting open. All right. So now We're going to do final touches around the face, making sure everything just looks absolutely perfect. This is as if, you know, she's my actual client right now. This is just how I kill time to get those lashes to dry without me just sitting here waiting, doing nothing. I'm just using my 227 brush here. Go ahead and look up. And I'm going to add a little bit more of my powders. I'm mixing from the Anastasia Contour Kit. I'm mixing Banana and Golden Peach to be her under eye highlight. And I'm using this to just kind of touch up the skin. Especially after all that wiping back and forth and stuff, it's kind of nice to just give your client one final touch. Making sure the color matches the bridge of the nose too. And we're adding a little bit on the outer corners and small amount on the chin. So now she has that touched up, and we're going to smooth out the blush. I had originally used Buff as her blush, so it's a little bit left on her her blush brush. And now, I mean, do you want to do gloss or do you want to keep it matte? What do you think?
Maybe a touch.
A touch.
Yeah, that
we'll
would be
do
nice.
a touch of gloss. So we will add. Let's see here. I have like a gazillion glosses, but let's try Wanting More from MAC. It's just a light pink. I think it'll be a nice contrast with the Dusty Rose. We're going to start right in the center and push it right into the lips. Okay, so we have a little bit of that creamy shine. And okay, so now at this point, I think we are ready to apply that mascara and give you guys a final look at this amazing tutorial. So the mascara that I'm going to use on the falsies is actually non-waterproof, only so that if she wants to clean them off and reuse them a gazillion times, she'll be able to do it without any problems. Go ahead and look down. Yep. So I'm just only coating the very ends of the lashes here. I'm not creating big globs all over. Just focusing on the ends of the lashes. And always, always, I use my fingers to pick up any clumps. So we're just picking up on the ends of the lashes here. And then touching the very tips so that there's no clumps. Go ahead and look, yeah. Oh my Lord, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. You look fabulous. So we're gonna take a nice final look at this amazing makeup tutorial look. Go ahead and kind of scoot into the camera. Let's do a side-to-side viewing. You guys go ahead and take your screenshots so that you remember where every color goes. Go ahead and look down. And you can see, you know, the glitter, the purple, all the placements. You see a little bit of that brown in the crease. Go ahead and look back into the camera and do the side-to-side. It's really amazing to be able to do something like this in such a short amount of time. You know, obviously I was explaining every step and wanting to give you guys a lot of those insider tips and techniques. So I'm hoping that you guys wrote them down. If you haven't, you can rewatch this class as many times as you want before it expires. So you'll be good. And then of course, if you have the all access pass, you can watch any of the classes anytime you wish, 24 hours a day, on, you know, your demand. So again, just to recap what we did the lighter color on the brow bone. We added the brown in the crease. We did a pearly white by mixing the white color and the shimmery beige color right in the tear duct. And then we filled the entire lid with purple, but we also added the black on the outer corner. We also did the black and the purple on the lower lash line before we did the whole, like, you know, winged eyeliner effect, and then in between the wings on this outer corner, we applied the gold pencil from Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is like, it goes on like liquid, but it's actually a pencil. And then we did the lashes. Of course, the brows were really nice. And the final touch was, the falsies and the glitter. So I'm just in love with this look. It's so, so pretty. And you could do it with any color. So if you guys want to recreate this with any color you wish, or using the Lotus palette so you can get this exact look, go ahead and hashtag Dress Your Face Live and tag me and Veramona in the picture so that we can show you guys some love. Yay! You look so great.
You did
so
amazing.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. I love it. So we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to answer some questions and talk to you guys for a bit, and then we'll say bye. So if you guys have not yet asked all the lovely questions in your heart and in your head, please go on my Instagram, and for the next 15 minutes, we will be answering a lot of your questions. And if Letty has any any feedback to add to any of these, questions that we have, we could always, both answer. So we have like more knowledge here. So on this latest post of mine, this is where you're going to ask all your questions. Okay. Alrighty. The one that says we're live now. So going in, let's see what we have here. Oh, also, can you guys tell me where you're watching from? Like what city, what country, where you are, just so I have an idea of, who's tuning in at this time. So, okay, so someone's asking me, what other colors could you use if you don't feel comfortable using bright colors? So if you scroll through my page, most of my clients also feel the same way you do. This question is from Mini Beauty XX. A lot of my clients feel the same way, and usually I'll use metallic shades instead, something like gold, silvers, coppers, champagne-y tones. And if you scroll down my page, you'll see a lot of my clients are not into a lot of color, but if we actually did a lot of studies, and I've been a part of a lot of polls, and even Benefit Cosmetics has told me that out of all the colors that everyone wishes for, if they were to choose a bold shade to put on, what color would they choose? And it's always purple. Purple always wins. I thought blue would win, but everyone's kind of right. Like, purple is what I would use. Like, I'm not a color person either. I mean, look at me. I'm not a color person. Blush tones, nudes is my thing. But if I ever do color, I prefer purple.
I think because purple accentuates brown eyes specifically, so I think
Yes.
purple is a very safe color to go with.
Yes, and most of the world has brown eyes. It's the most dominant eye color. So it's so beautiful to use. And even on green eyes, actually, purples and greens go really well together. So if you have green eyes, hazel eyes, brown eyes, purple is your best color. And I've seen purple on blue eyes too, and it actually looked really nice. Like, just very girly. I love, love, love. So, you could always just try to incorporate a little bit of purple, see how you feel about it. If you want to be able to try a new color without going too crazy, I think purple is definitely wearable. You don't have to do glitter over it, This is just my little twist on things. All right. Let's see if there's any other really popular questions. What would you recommend? So JKBS is asking, what would you recommend for someone who has dry skin upon application, however oily by the end of the day? Primers usually really help a lot with that kind of stuff. I've tried so many primers out there. I feel like the MAC Prep and Prime is the most versatile of all primers that I've tried, and it works on every skin type. I also really love the YSL Touche Eclat Blur from Sephora, and yeah, those are the two that I use on like more combination skins. Have you ever tried a primer that you really love?
Too Faced has a good one.
Oh, Too Faced. Oh yeah, Too Faced has a good one, and so does Smashbox. So, I mean, I feel like the use of primers really does help to balance the skin so that when you're putting on your makeup, it'll kind of last a little bit longer and get a little bit more under control. But if someone is like super dry and gets really, like specifically what you're asking, I would choose a product that is silicone based. Although really oily skin, it could get a little slippery, but the cool thing about like the Touche Eclat Blur, for example, or even the Benefit Professional, it's so silky soft that it's really nice for dry patches as well, because it just smooths right over any dry patches, as well as filling in the pores so that the client doesn't look so dry upon the application. And then throughout the day, it kind of keeps everything in balance because it is a nice thick barrier. So I would try that. And then of course, you know, there are sprays out there. I'm not a major fan of sprays, but I have to say there is one spray that I used recently in my kit, and I kept it in my kit. I've never kept a spray in my kit. I'm not into sprays at all. I hate sprays. But there's one from Cinema Secrets that I really like, and it's the mattifying. I brought it with me.
Is there a reason why you don't like sprays, or you don't recommend them?
Because, I mean, the way that we put on makeup lasts forever anyway, that I just don't want to dilute something with a liquid over it.
Like, you might get too close, you might...
Yeah, it might splatter. It's one of those, and I felt like it was always a gimmicky thing. I never felt like it really, truly made a difference in my makeovers, and my clients literally I never recommend it. You know, sometimes we gotta do this. We gotta sleep with our makeup on. And the next day, my clients look just as good without any spray. I never use spray. That's just with primer. But for those of you who get really oily, this is a spray that works very well. I don't know if you guys remember, not this past weekend, not this weekend, but the last weekend, LA had a huge heat wave. It was so disgustingly hot, and parts of LA were also humid. That almost never happens. So my brides who had photo shoots, you know, in the afternoon in between their ceremony and reception, were scared that their makeup was going to melt off. So just as a precaution, what I did was I used the Super Sealer from Cinema Secrets. I used this as their first thing that touched their face, and then I put their primer on, did the whole makeover, and then right before they left, I sprayed a little bit of this on a couple of them, and they had no problems throughout the day. So let me read it to you. It says, Super Sealer is a matte surface sealer applied after the makeup application to keep the makeup from smearing, and it creates a waterproof protective barrier. So it also helps, you could also use it directly on the skin, like I did on those clients, directly before everything, as a sweat inhibitor and protects skin prior to adhesives and gelatin application as well. So it's a multi-use product. You can use it before makeup and after makeup as a barrier, a sweat barrier. It's crazy.
That's good.
And I do makeup in a way, and you guys know this, we do makeup in a way that has so many layers, so it really does protect against sweat and shine anyway. But if you've tried that and it's still not helping you, that's when you're going to be a good candidate for this product. I keep it as my emergency situation.
Wave is coming this upcoming week, so
really? Are you kidding me? I'm going to be in New York, so I've been waiting for it to get really hot on a day where I'm actually off, so I could use my swimming pool. Fail.
100 degrees in LA next week.
Wow.
So everybody beware.
Well, you guys are welcome to use our pool since no one will be using it next week. Okay, so let's see here. A lot of the, so I'm going through the questions, and the thing is, a lot of them were answered in class, and I know you guys asked these questions like before class started too, so I'm just skipping over the ones that were already asked. So let's just refresh and look at some of the later ones here. How do you make sure that the natural lashes and the falsies stick together? I've had situations where they don't stick together and it looks so unreal. So like I was saying during the lash application, I make sure that I shove the base of the false lashes right on the real roots of the lashes. And I remember talking about how you're really not supposed to do that, but I do it anyway because I hate that gap in between. And another thing is when you're using your nail or the edge of a, tweezer or something to just press down. Go ahead and close your eyes. I did this. I pressed down right at the base of her eyeliner so that I can make sure that the lashes were really sticking down on her, and she felt it. Like she felt me, pressing in, and it kind of really bonds the lashes together. And another thing you could do, like on yourself, I don't like doing this to clients because I'm always scared that like I'm gonna poke them, I'm gonna get sued. So I do this on myself sometimes. Is like with a tweezer, you could actually press. Like while you're opening your eyes and looking in the mirror, you could actually press your falsies with your natural lashes. By the way, I'm wearing my Tamana lashes as well. My extensions, it's been a while, so I have this nervous habit of picking them off, and my extension lady is like probably so pissed at me. But anyway, I had to put my falsies on yesterday and today. So we're both rocking the Tamana lashes, and you can get them on flutterlashes.com. So, shall we talk about people with acne for a minute? And I usually do answer this in every class, but I know new people kind of get started on these every time, so I'll go ahead and answer it again. For acne prone skin, I love to go all matte and all full coverage. Like super full, super matte, no shine. And what happens is if you apply shine on an area that has a lot of bumps, it's going to show the bumps more. So mattifying the face and doing a full coverage foundation, full coverage powder, full coverage concealer, like everything full coverage is going to blur the skin really nicely so you cannot see the acne marks or any unevenness of skin texture underneath all that. So we're good. And then also I am going to have a class coming up for acne prone skin. I've already done a class like that before, but I really want to just dive really deep into the acne prone skin. So we'll have a very special class coming up on that as well. So don't go anywhere, my members. Okay, let's answer one more question. Actually, two more. Let's talk about how to clean the lashes. So I gave Letty another pair of lashes and she's already reused them a few times. I mean, really nice. You can use them a billion times. I mean, it says like you can reuse them maybe 25, 30 times, but I keep using, this is my original tester pair from like months ago when it first came out. Not even when it first came out, before it even came out. So, oh my God, this is almost a year old. This is my first tester. And we kept going through, you know, updates and things like that with Flutter Lashes and me being so picky. So I reused mine a lot more than 30 times. So that's that. When you clean it though, when you take it off, what you need to do is very carefully remove the glue. And if it's really stuck on the lash, don't pull it because you could end up ruining the band. And these are handmade lashes. All of these lashes are handmade one by one. They're not mass produced, factory produced. So that's why when we were out of stock, it took us a while to bring it back in because, you know, gotta wait. So they're handmade. And with that said, they're I wouldn't say they're super delicate, but yeah, they're not like so glued on the band. They're sewn into the band. So you don't want to pull out the glue so hard. So another way that you could do this, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube and stuff about this, is where you're immersing your lashes either in alcohol or eye makeup remover, and you just with a Q-tip slowly slide off all the gunk. And it just cleans it off so nicely. And then you could just recurl it or reshape it however you wish to shape it and then reuse it again. And then the last question that I wanted to answer was about fallout. Somebody was asking about fallout. Okay, well, I lost the question, but somebody was asking about, you know, how to prevent fallout and how to clean it properly. And I mean, this is a very common thing, which is why I really want to talk about this. We were talking about that as well during the whole process. You know, anytime a little dust fell out, I would just use a big fluffy brush. You know, this is one of my favorites, this 189 from MAC, and I would just kind of flick it very lightly and wipe it off on my arm or on, you know, if I have my wristband, my Pro Band, my Barracuda Pro Band, I would have just wiped it off on that. But you know, you could easily just use this part here to remove. So what happens is a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I got some fallout, let me just wipe it off. But when you're wiping it off over and over, what you're essentially doing is that product that you're trying to wipe off goes into the brush, and then when you go in for your second swipe, it's going right back on them or on you. So in between every wipe you do, you have to wipe off your brush. So that's why I like that mesh material, because it really grabs it. So I don't have to sit there and wipe a gazillion times and then do it again. Or sometimes I'll just use my Pro Band or my wrist or whatever and just, you know, keep going like this. So this is how you're gonna wipe off. And you never want to press really hard when you're wiping off unless you are trying to blend her own powder back into that area. Go ahead and look up. So like, let's say I wiped off all my things and now I'm just going to go like this and kind of reblend her powder. That's fine. But don't go right in like that when you have fallout. Another thing is, let's say the fallout fell on the, cheek or whatever, immediately you want to do this. Like, you never want to wait. As soon as you see a little fallout, you want to pick it up, wipe it off, because what happens is the natural oils of the skin and the heat of the skin is going to melt that product into her foundation, and then it's going to be so much harder to remove later. So never wait. As soon as you see a little dust particle come down, zap it away. And other thing, there's a few other things actually. There are also shadow shields, which are amazing products. The shadow shields, literally, you could just use it. I don't even stick it on. I just sometimes hold it up and do my thing, especially if I'm using a product that has a lot of dust fallout in general. And another thing that I wanted to tell you is with your brush, like what we talked about earlier today too, was when you're picking up products on your brush, do not pick it out on both sides of the brush. Only saturate one side of the brush, because that other side, when you hold your brush up and you're putting product on, that other side's gonna start throwing out, and it's gonna dust onto your cheeks. So you wanna make sure only one side of the brush is being pressed in. The press and slide, that's gonna happen only on one side of the brush. So I hope that helps. And one more thing. God, I have like so many tips. I could just talk to you guys for hours. So I know we're like, it's the end of class, but I'm just gonna say one more thing. If you do, like, I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a little bit of eyeliner on my nail, and I was doing in her eyeliner, and then my nail went like this, and there was like a black, like right across her cheek. Number one, never react when your client is in your chair. Never say, oops, oh my God, and like, don't freak out.
That was perfect.
Continue on with your stuff, whatever you're doing. Keep the client distracted and comfortable, and just grab a Q-tip like I did. I literally just grabbed a little Q-tip, and I just went ding, 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 and continued wiping just that one area off, and then I used my finger or a flat brush to smooth her existing product on her cheek over that area that I just wiped off, and it's like nothing even happened. So don't freak out if you get a little something messed up. It's so easy. Get a nice tight Q-tip. This is not a very fluffy Q-tip. This is from the beauty supply store. Any beauty supply store will have this, and it's nice and tight. There's no, fibers all over the place, and it really digs in and removes any craziness that's on your eye. Okay, so Q-tips are a must, shadow shields, and make sure you are wiping off your brush before you coming back to wipe off the face. All right, so we're gonna say bye now. It was such a pleasure teaching this class to you guys. It was such a pleasure having Letty here from Veramona. Thank you for being my model. We have been planning to just offer something very special to you guys, and I just knew it when her palette came out. I'm like, oh my God, we have to do this crazy color eye. My girls have been waiting for this, and I think it's really special. Remember, you can use my code DressYourFace when you're purchasing anything on Veramona.com, so you can get a whopping 30% off. And also for those of you who are Dress Your Face certified or want to start my course next year when it comes out again, in 2016, we are revamping the entire online certification program. I'm starting to get some feedback from my viewers, and I'm absolutely thrilled with the fact that we can talk like this and have this live session so I can understand what you need from me. And I think what y'all need from me is a full-on college of makeup, and that's what I'm gonna freaking give you. So I'm gonna need some time to make it all perfect, but once it is, 2016 is that date, so don't worry, it is gonna happen. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm yours forever. So we will do this, okay? So I will see you next time for the next show. If you guys have any questions about the ongoing programming, just go to the homepage of DressYourFaceLive.com. All the classes are listed there. Once in a while, we'll add another fun class in there too as a bonus. I'm always adding fun stuff, so stay tuned for all of those cool announcements, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.